Thank you for picking up Azon WordPress Master. My name is Ryan Stevenson, and I created this bonus video for you guys because I wanted to show you some additional tips and tricks for WordPress that you were not already going to see in the normal training course. The first thing that I would like to show you here is a special technique that you can use for creating new WordPress sites, or also for simply copying pages on one WordPress site to the next. I find myself a lot of times building a WordPress site in a very particular way, and I will likely repeat that same process in the future. So I might have these different menu pages or category pages or product pages that I have customized to my liking, and I would find myself using that same tactic over and over again. So one of the things that I will do is, instead of having to go through and copy and paste information from one page to the next on another website, I actually just go into the WordPress database, and I can easily export a page from one website and move it to another website. So you can use this tactic when you are creating a brand new website. You could then go to an existing website, copy all the pages off of that site, load them onto your new site, and then simply customize the actual content that is within those pages. So you don't have to actually go through the complicated process of putting in your custom coding and other things of that nature. So to get started with, go to your web hosting control panel, and you are looking for the PHP My Admin link here under databases. This particular page allows you to manage your database connections. So once you are logged in to your PHP My Admin on the site that you want to pull the posts off of, you should see something similar here. You should have databases listed over on the left. Just look for the WordPress database that you are using and expand the view so you can see all of the different tables that are within that database. Now what you want to do is one of two things. You have your WordPress posts and your WordPress post meta tables. These two particular tables contain all of the information that you are going to need to transfer the post from one site to another. I want to go into one of these tables here just to show you a couple of things so you can have a complete understanding of how this actually works. First of all, I am in the WP Posts table here. In this particular table, you will see an ID column. Each of the posts on the site has an ID number that pertains to that particular post. This is really important here. You cannot have the same ID number twice. This is important because if you are moving posts from one site to another site, if your destination site already has posts on it, then you will want to make sure that you are not going to be duplicating any of these ID numbers. There's one other reason that the ID numbers are important. If you want to only pull a couple of particular posts off of a site, then you're going to need to find those posts, record the ID numbers, and ultimately you will end up matching that to information in the WP post meta table. Going into this table, you can see down this column I have post ID. These numbers right here pertain to the ID number in the post table. So when I am exporting a post from one WordPress site, I want to get the column in the post table. So if I wanted page number 2 here, I would need this particular column right here to get exported, and I would also need any of the post meta rows that also have a post ID of the same number, which is 2. This transfers all of the information from one site to another site. So with that understanding now, I want to proceed on and show you how this actually works. What I'm going to do here is click on the main database up at the top. This will show me all of the different tables that are within the database, and you should see post meta and posts right here. Once I'm on this screen, then I'm going to go up here and click on export. Now, if I were to simply export the entire database right here, that would be a way of backing up the information within this WordPress website. And if something happened to the website, I could then restore that entire database. However, in this situation, I do not need the entire database. What I want to do is click on Custom up here, and then I can select the appropriate tables. So if I wanted to export everything from one WordPress site and then load it up on another WordPress site, this is really all I have to do. Just select Post Meta and Post. With this option here, it will be saving that information to a file that I will then be able to download, and I could then go and upload it on another site. You can also export it as simple text. This might be okay if you have a limited number of posts that you are looking to work with. However, if you have a lot of information, then you're going to be better off saving it as a file so you can simply upload it onto another site. Now with this said, on this particular page here, we would go down to the bottom and click on Go. And this would export everything from those 2 tables. This is going to put it all in a file. So I'll go ahead and just click on the Go button here so you can see what I'm talking about. You're going to get this file named after your database. You can see right here it matches this name right here, and it has a SQL ending. Simply save this file, and then you can go back to any other WordPress site. I would really recommend just to do this on a new WordPress site where you have not created any posts yet, and go to the import button, and then you can simply find that SQL file and click on the Go button down below, and it's going to import all of those posts for you onto that other WordPress site. So now the question really is, what do you do if you only want one particular page or a couple of particular pages? Well, to start out with, I am on the post page right here. I could take whatever pages I want. Let's say I want number 2, and maybe I want number 6 also. So I'm going to select these 2 rows. Now all I have to do is scroll down to the bottom and click on this export button. This brings me to the same export screen as before, except this time I don't have to do anything. I can just click on Go, and now you can see it names it after the table that I am exporting. So I could then go and import this one table into the other website. Now I want to show you a couple of other things here. If I click on Custom and expand this list, there are a lot of different options here. In particular, though, I am interested in the object creation options. When you are working with moving information from a database on one site to another site, you have to be sure that you are not going to wipe out information on the new site. This object creation options section right here is the place that you want to go to make sure that is not going to happen, because this is what is going to control the actual statements of code that are going to be in this file that you are exporting. So with that said, you have these options here: create table options, drop table options. If you wanted to completely wipe out information on another WordPress site with the information from this site, then you could use this drop table and create table. That would get rid of the existing table, the post table, on the new site that you are importing this file to, and then it would create a table from scratch and load all of this information into it. However, if you wanted to retain information already on that new site, then you would want to make sure that you are not using these options. I like to just go through and remove all three of them. With these options removed, this is simply going to be inserting the information into the new database, and it's not going to be wiping anything out. Once again, the only precaution that you would have to take at this point is simply to make sure you're not duplicating ID numbers from one site to the next. Just go and check out the IDs on your destination database table and just make sure that you don't have numbers there already that you're trying to copy in. So once we have this done, I then save this file, and I could go back in to the import button. Make sure you're actually in the table that you want to import to. So I go to the post table, and then I import on the new website that SQL file that I just downloaded and click on the Go button. Now there is one more piece to this, and this is the post meta table. I mentioned this previously. You have ID numbers here that match up to the IDs for the post that we were exporting from this other table. So with that said, we need to make sure that we get all of the rows that relate to that particular post. To do this, what you want to do is first click on Post ID, and this will sort them from low to high. This is just going to make sure that you actually have all of the rows up at the top here for each of the relevant numbers that you are trying to export. And then once again, you just select on them and go down below and export. And you want to go through the same process that I just showed you with the post table. with this table as well. As far as the exporting, make sure you are not going to be getting rid of the existing table, so you want to avoid the drop table and the create table statements that I showed you with the post table before. Do that with this table as well. And the importing works the same way. Just make sure you go to the post meta table and import that SQL file that you download with this information. Now, what if you had a post number and, maybe it's not very easy to find in this list or something like that? You can use the search function up top and simply search for a post number. So I could search for post number 6. And this is going to bring up everything for post number 6. And I can just select it all and export it really easily. So once again, using this technique, you can copy pages from one WordPress site to another. Or you could maybe even copy them from one site to itself. However, if you were going to try to copy something from one site to itself, what you would actually have to do when you are exporting your information, go down to Custom and view your output as text. Once again, avoid the create table statements and the drop table statements, and then click on Go down below. Now what this is going to do is show me everything that it is trying to do. And this is what I'm really looking for. Insert into WP Post Meta. You can see values, and each one of these are a different row of values from my database table. So if you wanted to copy a page from one website to that same website, or maybe if you had conflicting page ID numbers on the site you wanted to copy to, what you can do is export this information as text, look for this entire insert into statement, make sure you get all the way down to the last semicolon here from the beginning of the insert, copy this information to a notepad file, and then simply go through and change the 6 to a number that will work out, a number that is not already being used. So let's say I didn't have number 10 being used yet. I could just change all of these 6s here to 10s. And now when I go to import this information, I can just run it as SQL code. Right here, SQL code, I just paste this in, and this would insert that information into that particular table, but using different ID numbers. Now, with all of this said, there are a lot of different ways that you can use this, so you do kind of want to be careful about what you are trying to use this for, because you can end up messing up content that you're trying to copy on the destination website. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is on the WordPress site itself. This actually involves the Weaver 2 theme. In line with what I was just talking about with transferring information from one site to another to help you save time and work, I wanted to show you how you can do the same thing with the Weaver 2 theme. Now on this particular theme, you simply want to go to the Weaver 2 admin. It is in Appearance and Weaver 2 admin. From this particular page, what we want to do is go to this Save and Restore tab. the part you're really looking for is this section right here. Save, restore current theme settings using your computer. This allows you to download the theme settings from one WordPress site and then go to a new WordPress site and upload those same settings. This allows you to not have to go through the tedious process of setting up all these individual settings how you like it for each new website that you build. You can just get your first website how you like it, and in the future you can quickly throw together these new websites and base it off of the same design, and maybe then go through and customize a couple of smaller aspects to it. So to accomplish this, there are two different processes that you have to do. First, you have to download the file from one site, and then you have to go to another site and upload the file. So the site that you already have set up and designed how you like it, you have all your Weaver 2 themes exactly how you want it so the site is showing correctly. First, come here and download this file right here. I like to use this first download. There's actually two downloads available. One of them is all the current settings, and this includes settings that are marked with a special little diamond. This is something that you'll find as you go through the different Weaver options. Some of them are marked with a diamond and some of them are not. Well, if they're marked with a diamond, they're only getting downloaded when you do this particular setting. There may be some situations where you find that those diamond settings are settings that you customize from one site to the next. If that is the case for you, you can download just this file instead. However, you only need to be downloading one of the two. I simply recommend to do this one and check it out, see what it does, and if need be, try out the other one. But this one, at least for me, it typically transfers everything that I'm looking for it to transfer. So once you have this file downloaded from one website, then you go to a new website, whatever site you are starting to build, or possibly an older website that maybe you want to change over to the Weaver theme. Go there and click on the Browse button in this same section. Find the file that you downloaded from the other website and then click on the Upload Theme and Backup button. This is going to process that file for you on the new site, and everything is good to go at that point. So you can see how using this particular process, especially combined with the previous tactic that I showed you, from copying pages on one site to another one, you can easily go through and customize one site, spend the time to make one site look really great or just the way you like for a site to look. And then you can replicate that in the future every time you go to build a new site, but not have to go through all that additional work to pull it off. Now, before I move on to another section of WordPress here to show you some different tips and tricks, I have one other thing that I want to quickly point out in the Weaver 2 theme. That is the Shortcodes and Plugins tab. There is a separate plugin that is technically part of Weaver 2, but to get these features, you have to actually download and install that plugin. And that can be done from this link right here, Install Weaver 2 Theme Extras. Once you have installed and activated that plugin, you will then have use of all of these different shortcodes in this section up at the top. There is a pro version of Weaver 2, but personally, I don't use it. I've never even purchased it, in fact, and I'm not connected in any way with the developer of Weaver 2. It is simply a free theme that I found many years ago, and I've used it ever since, and they also keep it up to date. So with that said, while you do have additional functionality in the Pro version, I have always found that the free version, especially combined with a little bit of HTML and CSS knowledge, you can really pull off pretty much anything that the Pro version is offering. It just might take a little bit of customization or extra effort to do it. Now with that said, the whole point of this Weaver 2 theme extras is to give you access to these particular features here. And what these are shortcodes that you can insert into the content of a text widget or a post or a page. Once you have inserted them into a particular location, it will do whatever it is that particular shortcode is meant to do. Some of them are really not that useful, to be honest, but there are a couple of them that I find to be extremely useful. One of them is the Weaver Show Post short tag. Now, this particular shortcode, its purpose is just like a WordPress page with post, where you have a custom page that you build, and then you have a listing of the post down below it. I have shown that particular type of setup in the Azon WordPress Master course. Well, this Weaver Show Post shortcode is something that you can use on a page that you want to show a listing of the post, except this shortcode allows you to customize the display and the output of that actual information. So instead of having to rely on the way WordPress wants to spit it out, you can actually customize it with this shortcode. If you want to do other customizations to your site, maybe you don't like the place that the breadcrumbs are put by default. You could simply move that. You disable it from being shown in the normal location on the site, and then you use this shortcode somewhere in your content or in a widget perhaps to customize where that's going to show up. One of the other shortcodes here that I find myself using a lot is the Weaver YouTube shortcode. This allows you to display a YouTube video on your site, and while you could normally do that by just copying code off of YouTube and pasting it into your website, this shortcode here actually adapts the video to your site. It's going to take up all of the available width that it possibly can, and it even makes it compatible for mobile usage. So if somebody comes on your website on a cell phone, it'll shrink the video down to the appropriate size for them. There are also other options here. Once you install this though, you will get to see a help file. Just look for the little yellow circles with a question mark inside of them, and it will direct you to a page that gives you tons of details about using any one of these given shortcodes. I wanted to make sure that I at least pointed this out to all of you, because this is an added set of features that is not built into the theme by default, but personally I find them to be really useful. Now, the next tip that I would like to show all of you involves search engine optimization. Depending on how you decide to use WordPress, there may be some particular things that you need to do to ensure that your site has the best possible chance at getting good search rankings. Unfortunately, there are some things about WordPress by default that can actually harm your search rankings. As a result, you want to make sure that you are not straying into any of these gray areas that could possibly drag your rankings down. And if you do use some of the tactics in WordPress that can actually cause this to happen to your site, it's not the end of the world, but what you want to make sure you do is block search engines from accessing the parts of your site that are going to cause you problems. It's better for them to not see those parts at all than for them to drag your rankings down. So with that said, what I am really talking about here involves the post and category and tag system that I have discussed with you in the Azon WordPress Master series. If you use the post and category and tag system, you could possibly end up with duplicate content. Again, something that I mentioned in the course. Even though I recommend in the course for you to use pages in WordPress and not post, I still wanted to give you a little guide here on what to do if you actually do want to use the post and category and tag system instead, or maybe you want to use a combination of the two. So what I'm going to do is use this SEO plugin that I have installed. This is the plugin that I guided you to install in the Azon WordPress series. You can see it down here, SEO Ultimate. This provides the SEO menu over here. In this menu, we have a lot of different options. What I am interested in, though, is the meta robot tags. So I'm going to click on this particular link. Now on this page, you have a lot of different tab options here. On this first page, these are site-wide values. If you wanted to block an entire site from getting indexed by a search engine, you would click on this option here. Now it's not really going to keep it from getting indexed. It's going to keep it from caching it or archiving this site, which is slightly different. If you wanted to try to completely block out the search engines altogether, that actually gets done through a settings page, and this is also something that I had discussed in this series with you guys. What I really want to show you here, though, is on this default values tab. On this page here, you have options to prevent the indexing. This is the actual search engine indexing of different portions of your site. So you have different options here that relate to a different portion of your website. You can see tag archives right here and category archives. These are the two main ones that you would likely want to block if you were using the post and category and tag system. It's possible you might want to allow categories to get indexed, but only if you have not created custom category pages where you have a page with post system that is listing all the pages instead of letting WordPress handle all that for you. If you use the default category pages, then you would want to allow those to get indexed. But the way I use the category system and the post system when I do use it on a site is I create pages that act as my category pages, and so I want to block the actual category pages. I also want to block the tag archives. As I discussed in the course, this can cause duplicate content penalties. Now you also have other sections of your site that you might not necessarily want to be showing up in a search engine. You have administration backend pages, author archives. This can also cause duplicate content penalties because an author archive page could list the same content as a category page or as a tag page. You also have some other options like subpages of the home page. Most likely you will not be using subpages of your home page, so you won't have to worry about this. Date-based archives is another place that WordPress can simply repeat all of the different posts that you have, so I often block that as well. Comment feeds and comment subpages. If you are allowing comments on your site, as long as you are moderating them and you know it's going to be good, unique, custom content, you can allow those to get indexed, and they may actually benefit your rankings. The user login and registration pages, I typically block this. There's really not a reason to allow that page to get indexed. The remaining ones, blog search pages, and the three that I had already discussed with you, these I find to be okay to leave enabled on most websites. So you have your blog search pages, comments, and your subpages of the home page that you leave unchecked. Everything else I would really recommend to prevent indexing of if you are using the post and category and tag system, and especially if you're creating your own custom category pages as actual pages here to replace the real WordPress category pages. Doing this can once again drastically affect what your search engine rankings will end up looking like, because you're going to just be putting forward your unique best content for the search engines, and you're holding back all of these other pages that ultimately aren't contributing to what it is that you're going after as a goal with your search rankings. You know, your login page is not going to help you get better rankings for down comforters, for example. So there's really not a point in having search engines index those pages. This next trick that I want to show you is something that you should find pretty useful on really any site where you want a visitor to end up buying something or signing up for a newsletter list. And that is a exit screen. Now, I'm on my site here, Down Comforter Guide. I can navigate through my site as I like to, but then when I actually go to leave my site by closing it down, I have this page that jumps up instead, and it offers the visitor different deals relating to what my website is about. I get 50% or more of the sales off of this entire website from this one individual page right here. So what I wanted to do was show you guys how to pull this off. I've included a brief text file with this training video that shows you the steps to accomplish this. So I wanted to briefly walk you through how to actually do this so you can see it being done, or all the vital steps for it at least. Your first step, you need to install two different plugins. One is called exec.php. This allows you to execute PHP code within your post pages and widgets. The next plugin is called Exit Screen Plugin. This handles the actual pop-up that is taking place here. That is how this page shows up when I tried to leave my website instead. The next thing we need to do, once we have these two plugins installed and activated on this site, we can then go to the exit screen settings. Exit screen settings are found under settings and exit screen right here. That'll take you to this page that you see on my screen. You need to do two things on this page. One is to provide the full URL of the page that you want to use for your exit screen. So this is going to be this URL right here. So I designed this page in WordPress and provide that URL. Now the other thing you need to do is to enter in a message. This will not appear on all browsers, but it'll appear for those that are using Internet Explorer. And I provide you with the message that I'm using on my plugin here. In this text file, you can see the same message is located right here. So you can kind of customize that same message to your own niche and your own website. Now the next thing you need to do, once you have these settings entered in and saved, you need to have your actual exit screen page programmed and customized. This is the page that I'm using here. This is my wait page, as I told you before. So you would just want to go up to Pages, click on Add New, create a page, make sure you enter in the URL. I like to use wait, but you're welcome to have the URL whatever you want to. I put a title on this page. Don't miss these Down Comforter deals on Amazon, because this is going to show up here at the top. Beyond that, though, the really important parts are down below in the content. The first thing you want to do on this page is enter in this PHP code that you see up at the top of my content. And you also want to make sure you're in the text tab and completely avoid the visual tab for this particular page. This PHP code that you see right here is also included within my instructions in this text file. Now everything else that is down below are the actual ads and content found on this page. Up here at the top, this whole section with the words, as you can see, it's not actual text, it is an image file. Now, you do not have to use an image file if you don't want to. However, if you would like to, you can go to downcomforterguide.com/wait, right-click on this wait image, and click on Save Image As, and upload that to your own website and insert it into this page. It's a generic message that I have used on more than just one website. Wait, we have some great deals for you on Amazon before you go. So as long as you're an Amazon affiliate and you're promoting Amazon products down below here, this is an image that you can use. If you're doing a site for another purpose, that is okay. You could create your own custom image file, or you could just enter in text instead. So then down below it, you just put what it is that you want the visitor to do, the ultimate goal here. For my site that is an Amazon affiliate site, I have put in product style advertisements. These short codes right here are then replaced by my plugin product style, and it turns it into these different Amazon ads for down comforters for me. So with that said, you don't have to use Amazon ads. You don't even have to use my plugin product style if you don't have it. You could put in any Amazon or other kind of advertisement there. You could even put in the sign-up code for a newsletter lead form if that is what your goal is for that website. So this exit screen tactic can really be used in a wide variety of different ways that can be beneficial to almost any WordPress site. Now, to conclude this bonus training session of tips and tricks for WordPress, I wanted to show you a couple of my recommended WordPress plugins. And I'm not talking about the commercial plugins. Obviously, on this particular website, I'm using plugins like Azon and Extendazon, Combazon, Azon Publisher Studio, and Product Style, all of which are my plugins, but they are all commercial plugins. Now, even though I use those, I have a lot of other plugins that I actually use that are not commercial plugins. They're completely free plugins that you can download through WordPress. All you have to do is go to Plugins and then click on the Add New button up top, or just click on Add New over here in the sidebar. And then you can search for any of these plugins that I'm going to be mentioning here with you. One of them is Google Author Link. Google Author Link is something that allows you to connect up your WordPress profile, users and your profile, with a Google Plus account. The whole purpose of doing this is to get a special preview in Google search results. You will sometimes see on Google a normal search listing, but then you'll have other listings where it shows a picture of a person, the author of that particular page, and they kind of catch your eye. You know, they stand out a lot more so than the other listings do. Well, this is how you accomplish that. You need to set up a Google Plus page, and then you reference that profile in your user profile here on your WordPress site. With this activated, there is a spot to put your Google Plus About page URL. And that connects it all up for you. It doesn't guarantee that Google's going to put your picture beside all of your search results, but it makes it a possibility. It'll never happen unless this is actually set up. Another plugin that I really recommend is Google XML Sitemaps. This will generate an XML sitemap for your website that will be used with search engines, especially Google. If you use Google Webmaster Tools, and I would recommend doing so, this will generate that sitemap URL that you can submit to Google. And this lets Google know when you are creating content on your site and when you're updating that content especially, so Google can make sure to always keep a fresh index copy of your pages so you can actually see the results of what you're trying to achieve. One final plugin that I wanted to mention that I'm not actually using on this particular website here, but it is something that I find myself using on a lot of different websites, and that is called S2 Member. The letter S, the number 2, and then the word member all together. That particular plugin is a free membership plugin that you can use to restrict particular parts of your website. For example, when you are logging in to Azon WordPress Master to access all the videos and download the ebooks and stuff, that particular member page is protected by S2 Member. Well, you can use that plugin not just for selling your own products and things like that, but you can use that for affiliate purposes too. You can have a special area of your website that you restrict to people unless they either purchase their way in, maybe you make them sign up to a newsletter or something like that to actually gain access to your website. The benefits of this makes your visitors feel special ultimately if you're giving them access to things that the general public is not getting access to. And so you can use it to help you build a newsletter list, help you push more sales, or to just get people more active with your website to interact with the new content that you publish. Whatever the case may be, there are a lot of different ways you can use that for both free and paid membership website type of purposes. You can charge people a monthly fee even to access those different areas, and S2 Member will help you to automate all of that. So I hope all of you have enjoyed my bonus training today and my extra tips and tricks for WordPress. I hope you have also learned some additional things here that you can apply to your own websites to make them easier to create, easier to manage, or simply to get better search rankings or to make your site more profitable. So I thank you again for your business, and thank you for taking the time to watch my bonus training today.